It's no secret that we're in a housing crisis here in Halifax and across Canada. What's happened over the last few years could be considered a perfect storm of sorts, with a lot of variables aligning to get us to where we are today, and has really escalated our real estate market. And obviously, there are a lot of factors that contribute to the Halifax real estate market over the last few years, but today I'm going to talk about the 5 main factors that I think about when I consider what variables are impacting our real estate market and why I think it's not likely to make a big change in our real estate market conditions anytime in the foreseeable future. And these 5 main factors are the pandemic, housing supply, interest rates, population growth, and construction constraints. Now, just before I get into this today, if you're new here, my name is Andrew Stevens, and I've been a Halifax realtor for almost 9 years now. And if you're looking to be educated on the Halifax real estate market, then this is the channel for you. So go ahead, hit that like button and hit that subscribe button. Now, if you want to book a call or meet with me to chat about real estate, you can do so anytime in the calendar link below my description at a time when it's convenient for you. All right, so factor number 1, the pandemic. Now in 2020, this obviously changed everything. It changed the way we live, changed the way we work, and it changed everyday life here in Halifax and across the world. And this allowed consumers to pretty much work from anywhere, and a lot of them started working from home permanently. Now, during the pandemic, we were in a much better situation in Nova Scotia than a lot of other major cities in Canada and across the United States. And with that, we started seeing people flocking here from out west and Ontario. Now, a lot of these buyers were originally from Nova Scotia, but they maybe moved to Toronto or Vancouver or another city across Canada for work, maybe 10, 15, 20 years ago, and they've been thinking about moving back for years, and really the pandemic and the ability to work from home basically gave them the kick in the butt that they needed to make that change to their family, and they started to flock back to Nova Scotia in mass numbers. Our coastlines, our easygoing vibes, and our small city was really attractive to a lot of these buyers back then, and I would say that we were really discovered during this time. Now, I know as Haligonians that have lived here for a long time, we consider the real estate right now very expensive because it's escalated so quickly over the last few years, but the reality is over the rest of the world and across Canada, in some of these major cities like Toronto and Vancouver, they consider our real estate very cheap. And these buyers coming from major cities like Toronto and Vancouver, they weren't scared of the multiple offer situations the same way that Nova Scotians were. So we were really worried about, overpaying for properties and so on. But these people coming from these other bigger markets that have seen their market in the past escalate the same way ours has over the last few years, they weren't scared of this, and they came into our market with deep pockets and the ability to beat out a lot of Nova Scotia buyers. Now, in my opinion, for years, we were underpriced here in Halifax, but now that we've been discovered and it's escalated so quickly, I really believe this is our new normal, and I do not expect it to go back down to the levels we were seeing in, say, 2019 or 2020 anytime soon. For reference of how common this was, obviously it was all over the news and a lot of people know about it, but in 2021, about half my buyer deals were buyers coming from out of province, and about half the listings I sold to buyers coming from out of province as well. So this was something that was a major part of our business for those few years. And although this has slowed down, we are seeing a lot of buyers still coming from Ontario and out west today. All right, so moving on to factor number 2, and that is housing supply. Simply put, we do not have enough housing supply for the demand that we currently have, both in the resale market and the rental market. Right now, we have about 2 months of listing inventory, which is extremely low. This is considered a seller's market. And what I mean by 2 months of listing inventory is if you can think about if we all stopped listing properties tomorrow as realtors, it would take about 2 months to sell off what's currently for sale on the market. So again, really little supply. We only have about 800 active listings right now in all of the HRM as I'm filming this video. Now, for reference, when I started selling real estate 9 years ago, we were in a very big buyer's market, and we had about 14 months of inventory at that time. And over the last 5 years, from a new construction standpoint, we've added approximately 4,200 units on average per year, and really it's just not enough when you consider the population growth and a lot of other factors in our market. Now, we did just have the municipality apply for a $73 million grant from the federal government. This will obviously help, and it will help produce an extra 2,600 units over the next 5 years if we get this funding, but the reality is it's still not enough. All right, so moving on to factor number 3, and that is interest rates. Now, these were low for so long, and at the start of the market taking off at the start of the pandemic, the reality is we had really low interest rates. We had about a 2% interest rate on a 5-year fix, and this did not help our cause because the buyer consumer confidence was through the roof, and people were not held back by the interest rates at all, and the floodgates started to open. Once the rates took off last year, the market did shift very quickly. I can literally remember the week in April that it happened, and it was like our market, we were sprinting, and then boom, We ran right into the wall and our market dropped off significantly. For reference, in the first 4 months of 2022, we had about a $585,000 price point, and in the last 6 months, when our market really started to decline, we had about a $490,000 average across HRM for that 6-month period. Now, we're already basically back up to where we were at the peak in April in 2023, but regardless of the rates, life happens and people need to buy and sell homes, and the reality is the market will continue to move forward regardless of what happens to the interest rates. Going forward, what happens with the interest rates will make a large difference in what happens to our real estate market as a whole, but the thing is we have so much demand right now and so little supply that even if we took out about a third of the buyers in the market, we would still be seeing competing offers on a lot of listings. So this is why I don't anticipate it changing anytime soon, even if the interest rates still rise this year. Moving on to factor number 4, this is population growth. From 2016 to 2021, Halifax was the fastest growing downtown core in Canada, and in 2022, we were the second fastest downtown core, only behind Moncton, New Brunswick. Now, last year, we added over 20,000 people to Halifax, and the reality is we only built about 4,200 new units. Now, I'm not a math genius, but based on what I'm seeing in the numbers, that does not bode well for our future here for HRM, and the supply is going to keep dwindling, and the demand is still going to be there, so this is why I don't see it changing significantly anytime in the near future. Simply put, we cannot keep up the supply amount that we need for the demand that we have in our current market. All right, so last and certainly not least, that brings us to number 5, and that is construction constraints. The overall cost of building skyrocketed during the pandemic, and this is everything. It's not just the materials, it's the insurance, it's the amount they have to pay the laborers, it's property taxes, it's the initial cost of the land, it's literally everything. Everything is more expensive, and this is trickling down directly to the construction issues we're seeing in Halifax. And obviously the main ones are the interest rates and the cost of materials, and the lack of laborers in Halifax is a huge issue as well. And again, this is a huge reason why we can't keep up. It's not just the permit process, which is talked about a lot in the media. It's the permitting process. Yes, that is a bit of a problem, but we've done some things in the last few years to accelerate this process. But the reality is the developers are slammed. They're all extremely busy, and there's a lack of laborers, and it's really, really difficult to build right now in Halifax. So those are the 5 main things we're seeing that are impacting our Halifax real estate market, and these things will continue to impact our real estate market for years to come. And the thing is, we have no control over a lot of these variables. So what does that mean for us as a real estate market in Halifax? Well, only time will tell, but I think a lot of these issues are here to stay for the foreseeable future, and that is why I don't see our market changing substantially anytime in the foreseeable future. So going forward, yes, rates may change and some of these may change a little bit, but it's not going to be enough to shift our market substantially from, say, a seller's market all the way to a buyer's market. So going forward, I'm expecting way more of the same. I'm expecting low inventory, a seller's market, large demand, and a large population growth and construction issues as well. So the supply is likely not going to change, and the demand, in my opinion, will still be there for years to come. Now, if you're still here watching, all I ask is that if you've got any value out of this video, to hit that like button and hit that subscribe button, and that'll help push this video out to more people like you who might be interested in being educated in the Halifax real estate market. And until next time, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate your support, and have a great day.